Hello and happy Monday. I guess it's just the Mondayest of all Mondays here because I did have the stream set up as a scheduled video and YouTube decided to play games with me today and I had to reset it up. So I'm so sorry if we're a couple minutes late, if you were expecting us to go on a little earlier. And you know what? That's just kind of how life is. Sometimes you plan to go live and you plan to do these things and really put yourself out there. And then life is like, here's a hurdle. So that's okay. We are here now, and welcome to this live stream where I'm sharing with you what you need to be doing between now and the end of the year to make 2022 your best year ever. Okay. Are you guys so excited? I am pumped for a new year, a new beginning. And this is my favorite time of year, not only because it's the holidays, which obviously I love the holiday season. I love a time to reflect, but I also love the chance to really dive deep into the business, analyze what worked, and really make some plans and some intentional goals for the next year so that we can really have an incredible year going ahead. So that's what we're going to be covering today. In this video, I'm going to share the small short checklist that you need to do from now through December 31st. And I wanted to just really quickly plug my last live workshop of the year. I think that the very number one thing that should be on your list is to be investing back in your business. And what better investment than the time and intention of giving yourself an hour to really pour into your business and put some of this high level planning in place. Now, we're about at that time of year where if you don't have your strategic plan in place yet, you are already behind. So let's fix that. You can register and save your seat with me in the link in the description, and we can hop on live. It's my last live workshop of the year. Like I mentioned, it is scheduled for Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So during that workshop, we're going to be sharing the 3 systems that you need to transform your business in 2022. And we're going to kind of put a twist on it because this is my signature workshop. We only do this a couple times a year. But because we are in the thick of business planning season, we're going to kind of fine tune it to your strategic planning session for 2022. So you're going to leave that workshop with your roadmap to success for next year. And you're going to get your free workbook 24 hours before we go live. You can have everything you need. So again, that link is in the description, but we got some work to do right now. So hang with me for a few minutes as we dial in your end of year checklist for your real estate business. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to have a couple of tasks that you're going to want to tackle in the next couple of weeks before you kind of, clock out for the holidays a little bit. So the first thing that you want to do, and this all kind of ties into setting yourself up to create a really strong, solid strategic plan, like a business plan in 2022. The first thing you're going to do is update your metrics. All right. Now I have plenty of videos, and after this live stream gets published, I'll go ahead and link to a couple for your convenience where I'm walking you through how to gather your metrics, what that process looks like. And this is something that you should be doing a couple of times a month, right? So by the end of the year, like now you already have these spreadsheets already gathered. But if you haven't, that's totally fine too. We can take a little bit of time to gather our metrics and get a pulse for what we accomplished this year. This is always the first thing that we do in business planning. We don't start by putting these lofty goals out there. We start by saying, where did we come from in the last 12 months? What was our scope of work? What did we accomplish? What worked, what didn't work, and how can we fine tune that and make some smart pivots to have an even better year next year. So the metrics that you're going to want to gather are a couple things. Number one, this is the hardest part. You need to get a entire list, like a whole spreadsheet of every lead that you generated this year. And I know that kind of sounds like really overwhelming if you have been generating a lot of leads this year, but you want to do this for 2 reasons. Number one, you have to get a record of your scope of work. And the easiest way to do that is by gathering all of the leads and this is not just clients, all of the leads that you generated, and asking yourselves a couple of things like, what happened with these leads? How many did I close? What were my average conversion rates? What happened if I didn't convert them to a client right away? Like, was my follow-up there over long term? What was my plan if they ended up changing their timeline to longer than expected? By getting this record, you can really start asking yourselves those specific questions that can help you make smart pivots next year so that you don't fail in the same way twice. and or that you can scale by just increasing your conversion across those lead sources instead of having to generate more leads, because generating more leads, I mean, only is going to get you so far. If you don't have the systems in place to convert them long term, then that needs to be rectified first, which is going to help us identify opportunities in our business planning later. So you're getting that record of leads. The second thing this allows you to do is it allows you to touch base with those people over the last 12 months. Anyone who maybe expressed intent to buy or sell, but maybe you dropped the ball with them, or maybe they changed their mind. This is an amazing time to reach out to them and say something like, just shoot them a quick text and say, hey, you and I spoke earlier this year. You thought about buying a house. Just wanted to circle back before we get crazy with the holidays and see if that's still part of your 2021 plans. Easy. That is such an easy, non-aggressive touch base. And every single time I lead agents through this exercise in the Market Authority Academy, every single time they end up regenerating leads, right? So like getting back in touch with people and getting new opportunities. And so this is one of the best things that you can do. Such a great activity to, number one, gather that data, but then cultivate more opportunities between now and the holidays, which is hard to do. So after you've gathered your metrics and you are ready to start asking some specific questions, like I mentioned, like how were our conversions, what worked and what didn't work, etc., then you can start really fine-tuning your goals. Okay. Now this is a lot of what we'll be working on in that free training, my training coming up on Wednesday that I mentioned. So again, that's why you want to register using the link in the caption after we get done here chatting. But you definitely want to make sure that you are fine-tuning really intentional goals here. Now, intentional goals have to be measurable in terms of what the outcome is. So, how are you going to measure whether or not it was successful? This might look like you want to close 12 deals next year, one deal a month consistently. Okay, that's a really measurable goal. Another way to measure goals is by putting a timeline on it. Okay, so maybe if you have a goal to set up your CRM and implement your follow up campaigns, well, you can get even a little more specific in that, in terms of setting up your CRM, uploading your entire database, having your entire database organized, and having 4 strong follow-up campaigns that are automated and ready to go. That is a very measurable goal, but if you want to take it a step further, you're going to give it a due date. So maybe that looks like within the first 90 days, I am going to have that project done. Okay. So you want to have no more than like 10 of these goals per year. Between lifestyle goals, you might have a goal that's more like lifestyle related, intentional, related to your personal health and wellness. For me, one of those goals is always meditation, right? Every year I set a goal to meditate. And I always have this as a goal because meditation is a practice and you have to just stick at it. I never am 110% like hitting that goal. There's a lot of times where I let this slide, but it's just always a reminder for me to do it. So you want a combination of like 10 of these goals in terms of lifestyle, personal goals, maybe paying off debt, and then your business goals like key projects and revenue and production goals. Okay, so I can share my goals with you guys if you want. I will probably just leave that to the live training. So if you want to hear my goal setting strategy, we're going to be talking about that on this workshop on Wednesday. But if you want more clarity around what that might look like for you, leave that in the comments or just shoot me a DM on Instagram at Bryson Stefanie. Now, after you have those goals, what we need to do is break those down into the key projects that are going to contribute to you hitting those goals. Okay. So, for example, let's say next year, your big goal is to generate at least 10 deals specifically from your database. So that looks like past clients and referrals. Okay. This is a really attainable one for most agents. Now, the rule of thumb, if you didn't know, you should be able to get like 8 deals directly from your database for every 100 database contacts. Okay, so that's just like a really easy rule of thumb. Some agents will do double that. Some agents will fall short, but that's a really good place to start, especially if you're newer and you don't have a lot of data to go off of. But that's only one lead source, right? But let's look at this goal if we have that for that one lead source of your database and network, right? Your sphere of influence. A lot of interchangeable terms there, of course. Well, if that is going to be your goal, what do you need to have in place in order to accomplish that? It's not enough to say, like, write a number on the wall and say, this would be really cool to accomplish. No. Let's get actionable. What do you need to accomplish to put yourself on that path to accomplishing that, right? So that looks like taking our goals and then breaking down our key projects that we can do every 90 days to help us get closer to achieving that. So in that example, if you want to hit 10 database deals next year, that might look like in the first 90 days, you need to have your database uploaded into your CRM and organized. Okay, that is a super actionable project that will directly contribute to your achievement rate in that goal context. Let's look at about this again. The other thing that you might think of is, well, in terms of lead sources, because we're on that topic, I also want to get an additional 10 deals from open houses. So if those are your two goals, you want to get 10 from your database and 10 from open houses, that's 20 deals next year. You can totally achieve that. So from the open houses standpoint, ask yourself again, what do I need to have in place in order to hit that goal of 10 deals from open houses? Well, my follow-up really sucks. That must mean I need to get my follow-up game taken care of and implement the right automations and follow-up campaigns in my CRM. So again, this ties back to, all right, within the next 90 days, not only do I have to have my database organized in my CRM, I need to identify those follow-up campaigns that are going to help me convert the other leads that I'm getting from open houses and maybe other sources as well. Cool. So you're going to break that down after analyzing your goals. You're going to break down those key projects that are going to directly relate to how you're going to achieve that. And a really easy way to do this is after you've written down your 10 goals for the year, ask yourself, what do I need to make this happen? Okay. And then from there, you'll just reverse engineer it into those 90-day key projects that you will schedule time for yourself over the next couple of months. Now, in order to have this really highly visible, the way I do this and the way that members in the Market Authority Academy accomplish this is we use Asana to keep them very visible. So visibility is the most important factor, in my opinion, of being able to accomplish your goals, because you want to look at them every day. So for me, every single day I'm looking at my goals, not only my annual goals, like that list of 10 goals that I have, but also my 90-day key projects that I'm completing. Because if I have downtime between clients, or if there's like a Friday morning where I just have a lot of space in my calendar, that's when I know, okay, well, hey, I have some time to delegate some focus work to these projects. What am I working on right now? Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to really get some progress done on my CRM. I'm about halfway through that project and it's halfway through the quarter. Cool. I'm going to delegate 2 hours to getting some work done there, So that way you're always making the most of the time and energy that you do have, and you're being really intentional with the way that you are applying it into your day-to-day. All right, let's recap. We have gathered our metrics and used those to help us identify our goals for next year. Okay, so we've identified 10 goals for next year, and then we've analyzed that to break it down into the actionable projects that we are going to complete every 90 days. So you don't want any more than like 2 or 3 of these projects every quarter, right? That's just how it needs to break down because you only have so much time. Then what you want to do is to start planning for end of year closings and to have our pipeline full for January and February, which this is where a lot of agents go wrong. This is like number one, the biggest problem that I see agents doing. They kind of put their foot off the pedal during the holidays because they just assume people don't want to buy and sell during the holidays, or they themselves get really busy and they just like let prospecting fall off, which happens. It's okay. I've been there too. And then they wake up January 1st and they realize they have a dry pipeline, and then they have to grind through January and February with no closings to get their clients into escrow and then finally close them in March. So that is part of why January and February tend to be agents' least productive months, because they took their foot off the gas in November, which is when 90 days from now, those clients that we're generating today will ultimately close. Okay, that's why we start now. Because if you're starting your year-end planning in like December 25th, right? Like you're already 3 months behind. And so you may as well just cut your goals in like down 75%, because a quarter of your year is gone by then. So what we're going to do to make sure we avoid that is we're going to schedule something that is going to get us in front of our database. So this can look like a couple of different things, and it does not have to be crazy. It might take you some time, but it doesn't even have to be really that expensive either. You want to get in front of your database. And it doesn't matter if you've got 30 people in your database or 300? How are you going to show them client appreciation during the holidays? This is the easiest time to touch base with our network, right? So often we're like, oh, I don't want to call my database. I don't want to call my friends and family. I don't want to sound salesy, spammy. I don't want to ask them for the sale. I have no reason to reach out to them. What am I going to say, right? Like that's the stuff that goes through our head. This is the easiest time because it can be as simple as wishing them a happy new year and asking them how 2021 went for them, right? This is the easiest touch point moment for a database. And again, this needs to be one of your really important lead sources. And so between now and the end of the year, you need to schedule your letter of a heart. So for us, we do a letter of the heart. And I've shown this here on this channel before. We do these magazines where we send this out, and then we have our letter of the heart on the first page. And this is just literally every 90 days we send this out and we give them a little update on where we are. It's a very personal, not private stuff, but it's very personal, very heartfelt. And it's kind of just a way for you to bring in your client base into where you are in that time period in life. So this is a great time to do that in the end of the year. During the holidays, you can put a little bit of a holiday spin on it. Mine this year, I just finished drafting it. I'm actually really behind in this letter of the heart. Usually I send it out in October, but we had some things that hung it up. I'm still going to send it, even though it's late. It's not a big deal. But mine was very much like, these were our highlights of the year. This is what we were so excited about. These are personal memories that we were really excited to have, like taking my son to the beach for the first time. I included that. And then our hopes and wishes and dreams for next year. We want to continue growing our real estate business. We want to serve more families than ever, kind of bringing them into the mission that is so important to us, right? That's a great letter of the heart. We're going to send that. And then we're also going to do database pop buys. So making sure to send, we're going to drop off a custom to our team branding, a custom holiday ornament to our entire database. So these are anybody who has done business with us this year, anyone who has referred us, and anyone who's just like generally supported us, friends, family, past clients, other agent colleagues who have referred us, all of that good stuff. And so that's what that's going to look like for us. That's our end of year appreciation. We typically do a big blowout client events, but we're not doing that this year. We'll probably resume our events next year. And that way you've done a couple of different things. You've maintained top of mind brand awareness. You have given and served to your community, which is going to activate the law of reciprocity, because the more we give, the more people are going to want to give back to us. And we've done this at a perfect time, right leading into this early spring season, which for most agents, the like end of Q1 is the most active time for buyers to start getting out there and looking so that they can close by the end of the school year. Right. So like this is a time when we really want to stay top of mind, because that's when we're going to get the most referrals and build up our pipeline for 2022. Oh man, I hope that this is clear. If you are in the live with me and you're listening to this, give me like a thumbs up, or let me know if this is resonating. Give me a heck yes if you're liking this, because I know that this can get really in the weeds. And I know I talk fast because there's so much that I want to share with you. But I hope that this is helpful. Let's recap one more time. Number one, end of year checklist item number one, we are gathering our metrics and asking ourselves some specific questions. And by the way, this training that I mentioned, our live training on Wednesday, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. So make sure you save your seat, because space is limited and we already have a lot of seats reserved. It's going to be our biggest workshop of the year, and I want to make sure that you get in if you so choose to. So you're updating your metrics, you're gathering those numbers, asking yourself some really intentional questions about what worked and what didn't work. The second thing, we're using that information to help us fine tune our goals. So the 10 goals that you want to accomplish next year that are very actionable, very measurable. From there, we have determined the quarterly projects that we need to accomplish each quarter, 2 or 3 per quarter, nothing crazy, in order to help us meet and exceed those goals. And then we're going to start by reconnecting with our database just in time for the holidays, just in time for the end of the year, so that we can maintain our brand awareness, our top of mind brand awareness, getting into our busy selling season in the spring. Cool? I mean, you can absolutely do this in the next 6 weeks, you guys. This is 100% doable for everybody, whether you're a new agent or not. David gave me a thumbs up. Thanks so much, David. And I also see that you have a question, so let me get to that really quick. I'm not able to join live, David says, on Wednesday, but this is something that will be recorded for those who will be there on that day. Also, is this training only beneficial for those who are already realtors? David, I know you're getting your license, like you're in the process. This is a great time to begin doing that because so for me, when Bryce and I started in real estate, that was in like 2014, 2015. This is a lot of the stuff that we were doing. Like we weren't breaking rules and behaving like real estate agents without a license, but we were telling everybody about our intention and sharing our mission with our friends and family so that they could really rally around us and support us as we made that really tough transition away from our 9 to 5s to the real estate industry. And that's part of why we were able to have a closing like every single month of that year, including the first month. We had our first closing within 30 days of getting licensed. And that's because like literally on January 1st, we woke up to a text from a old coworker who was watching this specific neighborhood that she wanted to get into because it was in the school district that her son went to. And she saw a listing go live on January 1st. She reached out to us and said, "Hey, weren't you guys getting into real estate? I saw a house. Can you show it to me?" And we woke up, we're like, yeah, okay, sure. We called our broker. He activated our license. Our plan was to do it at the first, just because honestly, my husband is very type A and likes the idea of going live on the 1st of January. We wrote an offer with her that night, and then she closed 30 days later, So you can absolutely do this before you're even licensed. Obviously, not breaking any rules and not doing the things you shouldn't do, but you can start engaging with your clients, your prospective clients. You can start engaging your database so that they understand like what this is going to look like. This is the one thing that I think a lot of agents kind of miss the mark on because they assume, oh, I don't, I'm not ready to show up in front of my database as a newer agent because I don't want to embarrass myself in front of people that I respect. Like, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want them to think it's like weird, salesy, spammy that I'm going through this big transition. But I will tell you what, it was actually very inspiring for a lot of our database, which I did not expect. So many people were like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are really doing it. You're taking the risk. You're escaping the 9 to 5. You're going out on your own and doing your own thing. I wish I could do that." And they wanted to hear more about that story and they wanted to know about our experience as brand new agents. And like, who are we to assume that people don't want to hear that story? People absolutely do. So you should feel very empowered to lean into that discomfort if you've got it, like I did, and allow that to actually be part of your superpower of being a new agent. Yes, though, definitely register anyways. You will get the replay, but I have some live freebies, some live perks, and obviously we'll have the live Q&A during that live training, David, that anybody else, if you're on the fence, like definitely do not just register just to get the replay and watch later. You want to be there live because that's where you and I will actually be able to interact. But obviously, if you can't, if you're working or whatever, that's totally fine. Like David, you can still register. You'll receive the replay. It will be available to you for 48 hours only. So make sure that you're actually going to watch it. And then you can loop back with me. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram after you've watched that training with any questions that you have. But during this live workshop, it's going to be a ton of fun. So you're going to get your workbook 24 hours before we go live. So that's going out tomorrow afternoon since we're going live on Wednesday. You're going to get your workbook. So you're going to want to probably print that off and have that ready with you and then write down any questions you might want to ask me during this training. And we're going to help you really dial in your strategic plan for 2022. So we're going to kind of go through this checklist. We're going to make sure that you have all these details ready. And then we're going to focus on the 3 systems that are going to help you triple your business or more in 2022. We have dozens of verified successful case studies in the Market of Authority Academy who have followed this process, who have tripled or quadrupled their business this year in terms of deals and revenue. And so this is what has been working for agents across the country. I'm not here to tell you to spend money on leads. I'm not here to tell you to spend money on ads. We're going to focus on the strategies in 2021 and beyond that like actually work to grow your business. Because a lot of these guys out there who are sharing coaching and sharing these things, I hate to say it, either haven't sold a house in like the last 10 years, or they're still focusing on like this more traditional lead generation models like cold calling and door knocking that just are not as effective anymore because times have changed. Attention has changed in terms of like where consumers are hanging out. And also, they're not scalable because like the moment you stop doing those types of lead generating, your business stops. And so what we're going to do is teach you, we're going to flip that coin. We're going to teach you the modern brand forward ways to market yourself and stay top of mind, how you can serve your community at the highest level, which will help your business grow exponentially without ever paying for leads or ads. And we're going to help you put those right systems in place so that you can continue to scale consistently over time to meet and exceed your goals at such a high rate. So you're going to leave with all of that during that live workshop. I'm super excited to share it with you there. Again, the link is in the show notes so that you can get that information and save your spot. And then make sure, like I said, that you have any questions ready and written down so that you can ask me during our Q&A time. Catherine said, thank you so much for your time. I absolutely love watching your content. It is so helpful. I love hearing that, Catherine. I'm so happy. And by the way, my middle name is Catherine. So like you and I are twinsies, kind of. Love it. David said, door knocking. You don't want to do it and they don't want you to do it either. No way. And by the way, I am in Arizona. Like, people do not want other people on their property and they will do something about it. And so it's just not scalable. It's not scalable. You'll maybe get like one or two good interactions for every 100 doors that you knock on. Like, forget about it. Let's put these to rest. Let's focus on the proper long-term scalable strategies that are going to help you create a legacy out of your business instead of behaving like a salesperson. Because when you're only focused on the lead and you're always chasing a lead, that's as good as your business is. You're only as good as your last lead. And what we want to do is create a business that is going to grow and scale so that it's going to keep moving even if you get sick, or if you have a maternity leave, or if you want to go on sabbatical and go on a nice long extended vacation. It's super cool because one of our agents who went through the Market Authority Academy with us, and I'm going to share her story during the webinar, but I want to share it now just because I'm like chatting. She is super cool. Her name is Christina. This year, it was 12 months ago, almost to the day, when she and I first spoke, and she had a big goal to earn $80,000 in revenue in 2021. This year, she is going to close over $250,000 in revenue, more than that, like, which is so crazy. And so to celebrate, she's put her systems in place. She's making her first hire to hire an assistant to help her continue that growth and help her get some of her time back after this intense, build up. And she is taking her son on their dream vacation to Rome, Italy. Hello. And then she's going to take her husband on a little couples trip to Hawaii. What? And then like she has the systems in place to make sure her business is going to continue growing and scaling while she's away on these vacations, enjoying her time with her family. So like, this is what it's all about. Catherine's saying vibes. Like, this is me in a nutshell. So I'm really excited to share actionable tips on how we're going to accomplish this together, because you don't have to go it alone. We can do this together. We can offer support and camaraderie along the way and make sure that you can meet and exceed your goals in 2022. So I am super excited. If you guys have any questions in the meantime, let me know. I'm super happy to help. If there's any questions about this workshop coming up, most of this should be answered just by hitting the link in the caption. Just follow that link and register for free. Otherwise, I really look forward to hanging out with you guys live on Wednesday. It's at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So join me there and follow me on Bryce and Stefanie for any updates in the meantime, and shoot me any questions you might have in the meantime there. Thanks so much for hanging out today. Hope this was super, super duper helpful, and keep on crushing it. Until next time, take care.